Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. We are live. Oh, it's so good to be back in my studio. I have all the things I know how to use correctly. We were in Vegas all last week going crazy. Finally caught up on some sleep. So happy to be back with all you. We'll be recapping Vegas later in the show, as well as getting to some other big movie, pop culture news, lots of stuff. So thank you for tuning in to here. We're live every Tuesday, Thursday, around 9:30 p.m. Yeah, they call it Andy time. My apologies. I was watching Bachelor in Paradise with my lady. We were waiting for the rose ceremony. It got juicy. Now I had to pause and watch the rest tomorrow. But tonight we got some breaking Britney news that I reported on earlier that I want to break down with my man who's in the building, Mr. Christopher Melcher. How are you doing, sir?
Thanks, Andy. Just getting back from court, and so I appreciate giving me the opportunity to hop on the show.
Love having. In fact, I've never had a chance to really. We get to just hang on this a little bit. It's a little bit looser here. I want to get to know Mr. Melcher, the amazingly calm and kind and brilliant Mr. Christopher Melcher, attorney at law. So we'll talk to him a bit. If you guys have questions for him, you can submit them over. And I have a couple Britney things I thought we'd break out at the top of the show because I know some of you want to talk movies, some of you want to talk Britney. Get used to both. That's what we do here on Popcorn Planet. We're also dropped. I can also announce, Christopher, you and I taped a R. Kelly video yesterday, and I finally got YouTube to approve it. So you can expect to see that tomorrow, guys. I had to re-update it and edit it like 3 times to get the YouTube censors to allow, and I had to like drop the audio on certain words, Christopher. It was. I will fill you on off air on how you'll see it if you watch it, but it was insane the level of censorship they put on that story. When I had a real attorney here breaking down a case, it was wild. But anyway, does that surprise you, Christopher? You've been getting into YouTube now. Have you seen how difficult it is?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're so careful, and we talked about words that we didn't want to use, and we were so cautious in trying to figure out how do you tell the R. Kelly story without using a whole bunch of inappropriate words, and we were super cautious about it, and I was surprised that it got flagged. And I understand, I know there were some screenshots of the article, and maybe that's what did it.
There was one because like the Google AI like reads the words on screen, guys, and there was one like little line that I think it was just talking about children in general, and then the context of them with R. Kelly. That doesn't jive. So any mention of kid or age, it was eliminated. Now this video is probably deemed limited just because we said it in the beginning. But tomorrow you'll be able to learn our take on the R. Kelly situation, which is something I've been avoiding. But tomorrow you'll hear it officially, and not get into it now. But before we get anywhere, oh my God, I got to thank Nicole Rico. Nicole became an investor, the highest level you can get on this channel. Everybody throw some Planeteer logos and likes and smash that button. This one,
that for
Bigsby Snyder to welcome Nicole Rico. Did I do that right? Rico's Roughnecks. Welcome, Nicole, to the Popcorn Planeteer community. So grateful to have you. Amazing to see. Now you got the custom emojis and so much going on. Please send it on over. Whoa, there we go. We also got Mojo. Jojo just became a Planeteer. I guess we're with the Planeteers. It's we just got to own it. We've been worrying about a name, but it's already been there the whole time. You show your power ring and join the Planeteers. Welcome, Mojo Jojo. I saw Nicole Screaming Red earlier re-upped her membership, and Little Bit as well. Thank you guys for becoming members. Everybody sometimes re-ups, but if you're re-upping either way, we always celebrate when I get the alert. So thank you guys. And earlier today, I saw we got $1 from Allison Hoffman, who's starting off the show with $1 super chat. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. If you guys want to ask a question or give, the Linktree link is pinned by Bunda, our moderators. We'll be sharing it throughout the show. Usually if you use the Stream Elements link or the Cash App link, it just avoids YouTube fees. We're just trying to not get Google paid more money. So I appreciate you guys supporting the stream, asking your questions, and getting involved. So welcome especially to Nicole for that amazing investor level membership. Guys, that's what helps keep this stream going. And as I see a lot of, Christopher, I started this live trending on the Britney stuff, and I see every other Britney channels now. I'm competing with them all live. They're all live at the same time. We're all cannibalizing each other. It is what it is, as long as we're getting the word out. But I'm so grateful to all you guys who are tuning in here. I wish I could watch some of them. I can't watch them all at the same time. What are we going to do? But we're here to break down some of this information for you as well. So let's get to it, shall we? All right. So, Christopher, thank you for sending me that document. As soon as you send through, I started skimming it. And today, guys, we got this new document in. This document wasn't really new, Christopher. I mean, this was a continuation of sort of stuff we already knew. This was a response to Jaime, who sent out his first response, as they call it. This is a petition, Christopher. Is that the right? Am I using the right legal lingo?
Yeah, so he's Rosengard is supplementing the paperwork that he did earlier to have Jaime removed. And I anticipated that there would be some additional filing because when Rosengard came out with his first request to have Jaime removed, he'd only been on the job for, a week or two or something like that. He hadn't had time to really even get the file and get up to speed. So he came out and he said, hey, Jaime's got to go and I'll provide the information later. So I was anticipating seeing something like this, but really better than what he did because there's no evidence to support this that's attached. So I was hoping we would see records, like financial records that would show abuse by Jaime or witness statements that would show why Jaime needs to be relieved. And instead, we're just hearing a regurgitation of an argument that we've already heard. And, it's fine. It's powerful. It calls Jaime out. It says all the right stuff, all the things that we know already, but that doesn't add anything. There's no evidence backing it. And so to me, I was kind of hoping for more, and he still can do that. He can show up at the hearing, call witnesses, put documents in.
So this document, to sort of summarize, it's sort of, again, and I used your quote, thank you for sending over your thoughts as you were emailing, but you basically said, look, there's still no evidence, no witnesses. All of this is still conjecture in a way, even though it's going to make us Britney fans excited to hear. At the end of the day, he still has to sort of prove all of this, correct? And do you think, what do you think the odds are of him holding on to that evidence until he gets closer? I'm hoping and suspecting he must have some stuff up his sleeve, no?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of stuff. I mean, just look on Twitter. It's all there. And so what I think he's trying to do is basically shame Jaime and the court into saying, look, there's enough here. We just take Jaime's last statement, and that's really what he's dissecting. He's saying Jaime has done awful things here in even this last statement. Enough's enough. Let the guy go. Okay, fine. That's an argument. We know that there's evidence to support it, but he hasn't presented it yet in the paperwork. And what I'm trying to explain is that the court, if it's going to hear something and decide something on September 29th, we usually would see all of that filed in advance, then Jaime's counsel would have a right to oppose it.
Then you have to fight.
Sorry.
And then there would be a decision. So here, if Rosengard's plan is to show up on September 29th, and remember, this is at 1:30 p.m., and the court closes at 4:30, and it has an afternoon break. So how much time is the court really going to have to hear evidence, cross-examination, get documents in there, consider it all, and at the end of the day say, hey, I'm relieving Jaime? I would have liked to have seen that evidence presented now, so rolling in, the court's ready to go and relieve him.
Interesting. All right. So, any other things going through the main things? It was pretty much him responding point to point. The thing I loved was there was a couple points here, but just reaffirming again, you don't have her best interests at heart. This is about her, not about you saving saving face and fixing your brand awareness. This quote, it's not about anybody else. It's about her. And there was the point here about her. Where was that line? A very powerful line where he's like, it's about her, what you've done to her. And then I really liked also, he sort of bolds these points here, but we will not, this status quo is no longer tolerable. Britney Spears will not be extorted. To me, that was the biggest takeaway that I took away of just like, he's very loudly and clearly saying, no, we are not going to accept this like negotiation of you'll step down when you're ready. That's not how this works. You have to step down. You don't get to make conditions on this. This is absurd. It's only proving further that, you are not fit for this role. Yeah?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's something we identified pretty quickly when we saw Jaime's fake resignation, that he was conditioning it on payments that would benefit him. All these attorney's fees, the disguised crisis management fees that was really time spent leaking information to the press, trying to make Britney look bad. That was in itself a breach of fiduciary duty by Jaime. And then trying to disguise that work as legal fees, and Jaime saying, fine, I'll step down if that's paid. In and of itself, that's a breach of fiduciary duty, enough reason to remove Jaime, and that's what Rosengard's saying in here. And yes, absolutely, that's the right point. Rosengart also, towards the end, talks about TriStar and is saying it's an exorbitant fee and that a raise was given to TriStar. So he's also launching in on them a bit, which we hadn't seen before.
Right, interesting. So, TriStar, Lou Taylor's company, which he's definitely, there's a lot to dig up there. And again, she's very litigious, so we always say allegedly just to avoid those hurdles yet. But I look forward to them figuring out and sort of doing a real true audit on this, because there's a lot of questionable tactics and things we've seen. Actually, I'm going to pivot to something, because I don't even know if you know this or if you know, but I keep getting this email, and I just got another one. This email who keeps telling me, or I'm going to just read this because I'm not going to say who sent it to me. I don't know if this is legit. But let me read what this tipster has been trying to tell me. You are circling the drain on having this all figured out, but you keep missing what is right in front of you. I know for a fact that Michael Caine hates Lou Taylor, and he's going to flip and work with Matt Rosengart to show him where Lou has buried the bodies. And then furthermore, got a second one. Notice Caine is not in this new filing. Caine flipped and is going to point them where Lou Taylor hid the money. Now, do you know what is that's referring to, Christopher? This is some conjecture and obviously some conspiracy theories here. But do you know who that they're referring to by the because Michael Caine is part of the Miller Kaplan law firm, which is I assume then that's Mark Kaplan, which is K-Fed's lawyer, correct? Do you know anything about who these people are?
No, I've seen that also, and Kaplan's firm is different, so that's not Miller Kaplan. That's representing K-Fed.
Okay.
So this is, I believe, an accounting firm, and so I don't know, what's behind.
We can't confirm or deny this, but there's theories that, the reality is there could be someone, whether it's this person or not, there could be people out there that would flip or want to sort of shine the spotlight to avoid maybe some of their own misdoings. Isn't that sort of common in these lawsuits?
I mean, and anything's possible. I think that email sounds a little strange to me. And so if somebody wants to come forward with information, they're going to do that, and they would assume do that to Rosengart and not be, kind of texting people with it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of...
We'll see.
Yeah, again, I only add there because, again, this is a weird tip I'm getting, but I like sometimes throwing it out when I'm live, because if someone can confirm or send me more information, I will run with it, but I need to confirm this stuff. And no, not Michael Caine, not that Michael Caine, the actor. No, Caine with a K, K-A-N-E. Michael Caine, that's how you say the actor Michael Caine. Michael Caine. But no, not that. Everyone's confused. My movie fans are like, who? But yeah, anyway, there's a lot more. Again, thank you, Nicole. Lou M. Taylor owns TriStar Sports Entertainment. She's a business manager for high-profile celebrities and athletes. Correct. And there's a lot of alleged accusations that she has been involved in some of the shady doings and why she's in this conservatorship. Again, we need to prove all this stuff, guys. I know there's a lot of people who want to run with these headlines and just say it's for sure. There does seem to be some questionable stuff from what I've looked at. But I've avoided the Lou Taylor video just because I want to get some more definitive information than just keep spamming out conjecture to a lot of you guys. Back to this document, though, Christopher. Again, he's avoiding the facts and the witnesses and the evidence. But again, just to reaffirm, you say that is on purpose, right? So he can sort of have something to fire on September 29th.
Well, sure. I think everything he's doing is for a reason. But gee, I really want to see Jaime removed on September 29th, and he is taking a gamble here by not presenting whatever evidence that he's assembled so far in this document, and hoping that the court would read this and use common sense to say, look, I've heard enough. Even if Jaime hasn't done anything wrong, even if I don't have any evidence of financial abuse, I'm removing Jaime just based on what I've heard. Yes, that's common sense. That's what we would all hope. But has common sense prevailed in this case ever? No, it hasn't. So is something miraculously going to be different on September 29th? I hope so. But, again, to me, I think it would have been nice to attach something, maybe some of these shady financial transactions that Jaime has been involved in, some examples for the court to hang its hat on, in addition to the medical team allegation that Jody Montgomery made, saying that this would be this is harmful for Britney to have her father in this role. Jody Montgomery said that, but she's referencing this medical team, but that's hearsay. She doesn't identify who is the medical team, who said that. She doesn't bring in declarations by the doctors saying it. And so again, it sounds good on paper. It's nice to see, Jaime being called out, but courts need evidence, which would be a witness statement or a document.
Right. I just see a lot of people getting excited, as we should. It's easy to get distracted by the exciting, fervor of it all. But the reality is, there's still a lot to do. They said that my audio keeps cutting down. It shouldn't. Is it audio dropping? Chat. Let me know if anybody else is hearing that. It looks like my levels are the same when I switch around. But if someone is noticing a level and decrease as I switch screens, please let me know. So any final words on this one, Christopher, before I move? There's a separate sort of more interesting fan thing that's out there. I mean, I feel like we've covered this pretty well. There's nothing really in here that's surprising to you. Anything else you want to add?
Oh, I mean, hey, last time when Rosengart filed something like this, we saw Jaime come out swinging and made idiotic statements. I mean, they were just damaging admissions that Jaime made. His attorney, I don't know, who wrote that document, but they did not think about the inconsistencies that they were using in that document and how damaging it was. So the strategy by Rosengart may just be to smoke out another response by Jaime, something else that he would say that's going to hurt himself. So hey, we'll see. He reacted last time.
Yeah, I mean, it is, again, it's almost wise because he keeps putting these out there to just keep getting more information. As you said the first time, to get Jaime to talk is only going to help the case. So the more he sort of gets frustrated and angry, the more information they gather. So one will hope he will take this as he will. The one thing he didn't mention, which I noticed, was he didn't mention, I thought they might jump on the fact that he admitted to acknowledging payment to Lynn Spears's expenses, which was something that blew my mind as in that last document of his hubris and defense of himself. Literally acknowledged, I approved her whole maid services and rent, etc., like on Britney's dime. Do you think he's maybe holding that with even more evidence later potentially?
I don't know. I kind of hoping that Team Rosengart is looking at the Twitter feed and your videos and other videos that people are making about this stuff to, kind of get some analysis, some, kind of input on what we're seeing in these documents. But yeah, that was a catch that he could have brought out. Now, Lynn, I mean, Rosengart cites Lynn's declaration in support of the reason to get rid of Jaime. So when you look at this current document, Rosengart is aligning himself with Lynn, saying, just as Lynn said, Jaime needs to go. So he may not have wanted to burn Lynn to make it look like, hey, Lynn is abusing Britney also, because Lynn is a witness now that's made herself a witness in support of Britney. So again, we see the inconsistency, but the legal team needs to think about how you're going to treat witnesses, and witnesses are going to line up on sides. And right now, Lynn's on the Britney side, and Rosengart probably wants to keep her there.
Yeah, see, that's why I love getting Christopher in here, because he notices that kind of shit. And he's totally right, because, Lynn's on Team Britney for now, because they need her to be, and it helps the case in the overall scheme of things. And maybe Britney is okay giving Lynn a pass, given everything that's happened from what we've seen, to sort of ensure that Jaime really gets the stick at the end of this, right? So good catch. That's why I love when Christopher's analysis is here, because we really can see a lot of that. Allison, thank you, Allison, for the super chat. So is Britney's lawyer able to get paid, or does she have to get rid of the conservatorship first? Interesting. Does Rosengart get paid on this? Christopher, do you know?
So he will. He's absolutely entitled to compensation, but the court has to approve it. So he'll make an application for the fees, and I don't know. I didn't see any advance or anything like a retainer that was approved by the court when he was initially hired. So that's kind of normally what would happen in like hiring a lawyer, especially with this magnitude of work. It'd be like, I would love to help you. I need a boatload of money to get started. And my suspicion is that Rosengart didn't want to have that as first request, because everyone would have, hated on him immediately, saying you're just doing this because you want to get paid. And I got to think, look, he's been on the case July 14th. We're at 6 weeks. My guess, his bill, probably 3, 4, 500,000. I might go 500 grand.
Wow.
I would think he's racked up that many charges right now.
There's a benefit for him to have this case, even if he doesn't get paid, right? This is a huge resume case. Like, certain lawyers are okay taking on pro bono cases that are this big to help the cred to become the expert on certain things, right? Isn't there sort of a marketing angle to this too sometimes?
Yeah, there are attorneys who have made their name on this, and I remember Mark Garagos. My dad was a criminal defense attorney, and Susan McDougal, who was involved in the Whitewater thing with President Clinton, and she needed a defense, and she was held in contempt and sitting in jail, and I don't want to get into too many details on that, but my dad had rejected that, and Garagos took that case, and that what's made his name. And so there are a lot of examples of lawyers who have taken a case and made their name. Now, Rosengard's already had his name. He's in at this big firm, making lots of money. So I don't think he needs to do that. But that firm's definitely not doing anything out of charity. They're going to get paid handsomely for their work, and they deserve to get paid handsomely for their work.
Right.
I just think he's not wanting to come out the gate and saying, hey, I need to get paid, because we'd all be saying, well, that's all you're trying to do is just another person feeding at the trough. So I could understand where they're going to float this thing and show some results and paperwork like this to show that he's, swinging for her. And then eventually he's going to say, oh, by the way, I got this bill, which is going to be in the 7 figures probably by that point.
Yeah, I know you lawyers are expensive, but hey, if you're good, you're worth the money. Brittany, what's up, Brittany? Brittany Truskowski asks, are the documents that Jaime's lawyers filed where he did a bunch of talking? Aren't the docs evidence technically?
Yeah, they are. So if an attorney is an agent for the client, so when I speak on behalf of a client, those are admissions by the client, so we can use those. So when Holland and Knight are making statements on behalf of Jaime, those count towards Jaime, even though Jaime's not saying it himself. So yes, that's evidence. The offer or condition that he placed on resigning, that is counted against Jaime. The media matters, the crisis manager, and this is what I've tweeted about. It's hey, if I'm Rosengard, I'm going to subpoena the crisis manager, and I want to know every reporter that the crisis manager spoke with and what she said. And even though that's part of Holland and Knight, that person's not a lawyer, and there's a case in California that says that's not privileged. There's no publicist privilege, and I have some info about maybe what was said by the crisis manager. So that is fertile ground for Rosengard to go after, because if it's true that the crisis manager was bad-mouthing Britney, using information that have only come from Jaime's counsel or Jaime himself, and using that to plant stories against Britney, that is a horrendous breach of fiduciary duty. And then on top of it, to bill her for that time, this is mind-blowing. And so there is something there. Now, the problem is reporters have a privilege. They're not required to reveal sources, and they're often will exercise that because they don't want to be involved in witnesses. But there may be reporters who are willing to testify about what this crisis manager said.
Lots coming. So interesting. I remember specifically when I went through my whole issue back in 2017, and I got falsely accused of a bunch of nasty stuff, and I wanted to come forward and go against everybody and say all this stuff about my employer and all these people, but I just remember the lawyers like, you can't say anything, because my biggest conflict was like, I wanted to apologize for some of the stuff I did do, and I just remember like, well, you can't do that, because if you do that, that'll be used against you, and then the stuff you didn't do won't be able to be. It was a very complicated thing of everything you say can be used against you, Richard, which is a real deal, guys. So if you're ever in a place where you're against the wall and you're worried, don't get a lawyer. Don't say anything. Make sure you're safe, because it is a real thing. The words you say anywhere can all be used against you later. So it's nice to see that they're being careful in all this. Danielle also wanted to ask, will they bring her boys in to be witnesses? I mean, I assume they don't have to do anything. If Jaime steps down on the 29th, they're done. But that feels like a last resort to have to bring them in. I mean, they could, given the abuse and stuff that happened. But do you think that's likely at some point?
You know, I mean, everything's possible. So a child could be called as a witness. The court would definitely want to know, like, what exactly, it's called an offer of proof. What is this witness going to say? And can't you get that information elsewhere? And so there's going to be a very high mark that anyone would have to meet who wanted to call a child witness involving a parent. So that would be an absolute last result. I don't know what the children would have observed that would help the case that couldn't be proven otherwise. You know, we just don't know about that stuff. But you know, it's really not it's not healthy, obviously, for a parent to bring a child as a witness into a court action unless it's necessary. But you know, sometimes it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was just someone was even. It's nice to see even TMZ sometimes does at least put the good headline, because they really love to play both sides. Have you noticed that? Because look, I do believe you can pay off TMZ, and I do believe there have been people who have been paying off TMZ to make Britney look crazy. But even if you pay them off, they will absolutely take money from the other side to actually make you look stupid, making Jaime look stupid. So it's always amazing how the press, you just can't trust them. They will do whatever they got to do to get those clicks. But at the end of the day, this is a fair headline. It really does. I mean, he is trying to extort her, which is really effed up about it, because when you really take it down, it's like he's like, yeah, I'll step down. He tricked everybody into saying he was going to step down. A lot of people think he stepped down, Christopher, right? That's what's so effed up about this, because he leaked the documents to TMZ first. But he hasn't stepped down, and the conditions were, I'll step down if you take care of this, put it in this ghost bank account, et cetera, and you know, then on my terms I will. It's super effed up. I mean, technically, yeah, that is extortion in a way, isn't it? Not, because he's supposed to be there to protect her, and instead he's like, give me more of your money, and then I'll step down.
Yeah, it's a shakedown, and the thing is that, and I don't know that you know, with TMZ, what I've seen is in some other press outlets, there is a bargain to be made by leaking information, and I've seen this because I'm handling very high profile cases, and I never talk about my own cases, but certainly if I were to do so, I could get some love from the media, and I just never do that. But I could see opponents doing that. And so on the other side of the high profile case, all of a sudden they're getting a lot of media mentions, you know, probably because they're leaking stuff. So I think that's where the bargain is with the media sometimes, or it's, you know, hey, leak the story, give me the exclusive, and then they give some better light to that side or to that attorney.
Do you never, that's interesting, I'm pushing you on that a little bit. You never feel the need to do some sort of like press or marketing angle in a case that you're working on without naming names? I mean, isn't there a benefit to sometimes figuring out, doesn't the press almost always become part of a high profile case, whether you like it or not?
Yeah, so it depends. Now, a lot of my clients already have the media machine in place already.
Gotcha.
So, you know, if
you don't have to worry about it.
You know, I mean, they've got top-notch people, and so I stay out of the way on that. They're going to handle all the spin and timing of things. In times that I have been involved, yes, there could be some very subtle things that are said that would help write the story, because there's so much interest in these things. And the press is just dying to print stuff, and a lot of times it ends up using speculation, rumors. It's just garbage out there. So, and especially if the client's getting beat up pretty bad in the press, we can't wait till the court thing is done and there's findings. That could take a year or something like that. So sometimes some information given to the press with the client's approval can help. What's hard about it is when kids are involved, and you know, if you look at Brad Pitt, he gets an A for how he handled the press, because he just was quiet. He complied with everything that was expected of him. He didn't put any information out there. He just let
totally
people say
true.
whatever he's going to say.
Angelina Jolie always is out there kind of knocking him or trying to fight it in some little way, but it always looked like she was the one who was instigating, and he was always like, for the kids, I'm not saying anything. And it is a good look to do that, right?
Yeah, it worked out well for him, because so much time went by, and you figure, hey, if there were other incidents, we would have heard about it. So he's a really good example of just, hey, go with the program, don't say anything. And I think he did that for the kids, because for me, in representing people in high profile cases with children, it's bad enough when you're going through a divorce and your stuff's in the headlines in the public. But how embarrassing is that for these children? And now all of their parents' dirt and the family's dirt is out there in headlines like this. It's so awful and damaging to them. So it has, people are reactive and they want to defend themselves and do all this, but we got to think through a couple steps after that and how that's going to impact kids.
It's so true. And as someone who went through a divorce, I'm so grateful that as bad as my divorce was and had slightly profile in the moment it happened to me, I was so grateful we went through a mediator. And that was such an amazing thing. I assume you condone those as well. I know you're a divorce attorney, but man, if you can really avoid the divorce, no offense, Christopher, if you can avoid the divorce attorney fees and try to actually do what's right for the kids and do a mediation to get, the middle of the road of what seems to be the fair middle ground for everybody, it really does take things to a better place. But yeah, in these high profile cases, it's interesting you say that. I'd love to do more on this topic on singular videos. But yeah, the Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, it's true. Whatever happened, I still owe. And I'm curious, chat, who did you notice that too? Like, Angelina seemed like she was really pressing him in the press, almost like it was going to help her favor. And I really do think, especially when kids are involved, it does the opposite effect, where I'm just like, why is this our business? Leave it alone. Like, I don't really want to know any of this shit. And the fact that he never felt the need to go on the defensive and fight back, if anything, I thought made him look more like a gentleman. And then there was a press. Then he ran into Jennifer Aniston, and she was cool with it. Dude's slick. Dude is slick as it ever gets. One more question here, Allison Al Hoffman. Thank you. You've got it. I don't want to keep Christopher too long, but if you guys have questions, send them over quickly. But Allison sent another one. Dr. Melcher, are you a doctor too? Today your name. Would you have taken the case? Interesting question. I mean, it's not your expertise, right? Would you have if you had the opportunity?
So, it's the thing is, I'm handling divorce and I try and stay in my lane. But hey, litigation is litigation. And so, I've done criminal defense, I've done divorce, I've done all kinds of law. And what it comes down to is, the art of persuasion and communication. So, and when I'm involved in cases, I assemble huge teams of lawyers and accountants, professionals, experts. So honestly, this stuff ain't rocket science. I didn't know anything about conservatorships until I started, working on this story. And I've read the probate code numerous times. And again, it ain't rocket science. So I think I could, with the help of a team, put on a case like this, just as Rosengard's doing.
Now,
you never handled it.
Would you have, though, is the question.
Would I have? No.
Right? That's the difference.
No, I wouldn't, because my thing is that she, look, I'm happy to support in the way that I have been on social media and hoping the best for her. But, really what I do is refer to specialists, and there are lawyers who live in that world. You have like Lisa McCarley. She's all over Twitter. That's her world. And so it's lawyers like that who have been in the system and been fighting out against it. They know all of the details that certainly you would want on the team. And so I think for me, it's good that she got somebody out of the system. It's good that but also Rosengard needs to have the subject matter experts, the probate lawyers on the team. I'm hoping he does. I don't know that they are, but he needs to have that equipment to basically go forward. But, for me, like I say, hey, I'm a divorce lawyer. I got my hands full with my divorce cases. I'm not looking for other stuff.
That'd be a good video for us to do later. Britney and K-Fed's divorce. I'm curious your thoughts, but we'll save that one. But Danielle just asked a question. Do you think she has a case of suing her dad and the family? At a certain point, so let's hope, right? Let's fast forward. Let's hope they pull Jaime off finally on September 29th. What do you think the next step is? It seems Britney's out for blood. Like, she's finally wants this revenge. She wants them all to pay. She said as much. What do you think the next step is in order to potentially go there? And do you think they have an opportunity?
Oh, yeah. So she's going to sue everybody. So she's absolutely, and even right at the beginning of this document, it says, this is not the time to sue Jaime. But, basically there's some italicized language right at the beginning where it says, it's not this petition that we're going to sue.
Is it here?
Basically, it's I have to find it, but it's.
All right. It's always hard to find that one little line. Exactly.
I know.
I know what you're talking about. I saw it there.
Here,
too.
yeah. It's right there, paragraph 2, line 10. The issues of misconduct are not at this time on this petition before the court. So what he's italicizing, it's not this time, it's not this petition to remove him, inference, it will be later. So they're definitely going after Jaime. And like I've talked about previously, there's like almost a $48 million bond on Jaime that the insurance company would have to pay out for if there's, a finding of conservatorship abuse. So she'd have a pot of money that she can recover. And then there's others involved. Sam Ingham, huge target. Sam Ingham, if you're listening to this, please, for your own sake and Britney's sake, go get a gigantic malpractice insurance because you are going to need it. They're going to go after him, I would think, and other people that have been named and talked about. I think she's going to make a claim against all of them.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, but like Jamie Lynn, the sister, there's just because she's been a bad sister in theory or done some stupid things, she's gonna have to go after the people involved. Can she go after the judges, like the previous judges that were involved in that back in the day? No,
the judges in the court have immunity. They just can't be sued.
But like her old manager Rudolph or whatever, like he's on deck potentially. He could have been faultily involved. I mean, they could try to go after TriStar, right, and Lou Taylor, and sort of if they can find connections to it. But I imagine that step one is getting someone in there who can start doing the due diligence and the research to figure out, okay, how was this working? What can we find out, right? So because they need as much of that downloaded as possible.
Yeah, I mean, they can make a claim based on their information and beliefs, so they don't need the evidence first. They can just start suing people. And once they sue people, then they have a right to what's called discovery. And it's like, open up all your financial records, and I want to take statements under oath, compelled statements called depositions. It's a completely different ballgame. Right now, Jaime's running the court. He has all the control over the finances. He controls the lawyers. He's controlling the judge because he's basically, getting his way with the court because he's in this position of power. Once he's dethroned, and then Britney sues, once she has her right to sue, restored, then she's in control. She runs the court. All of this, and there's going to be a big budget to go after. Again, $48 million bond. There's going to be plenty of lawyers who will take that on if Rosengart doesn't.
Fascinating. So lots more coming. There you go. Danielle is the question. Before, you're welcome to hang, but I want to not take too much of your time. But I wanted to post. It was interesting. This is a total side topic. But on Instagram, I keep getting these people who always are like, Britney's not writing her Instagram. And I have trouble believing that because Sam, her boyfriend, is always chiming in the comments and seems involved. Why would he be encouraging and not saying something himself if Britney was, in fact, doing her Instagram? That's always sort of the last point of defense. I'm like, why wouldn't she be? Why would the boyfriend's in on it too? It just seems too much. But there is something that came out the other day that people have been sending me that I found weird. And this is sort of back in the beginning, a lot of the detective work of all these Britney fans were saying, and I'm curious, chat, Christopher, you as well, anybody, could this be real, or do we all think we're just overthinking and overreacting like we always do? If you need help, wear yellow in your next video, which had a lot of likes. And then suddenly, yellow, phone, hello, fellows, and is what she posts as she's dancing around her yellow dress. Something looks dancing here. Hey, it feels right to the movement. I was feeling it. Obviously, yellow phone. Hello, fellows. It's so this weird code she speaks in is so strange. And then to add to the weird stuff, here's it's just a weird shot. But she changed it just to yellow, and now she's dancing around in yellow. Chat, I'm curious, do any of you follow these conspiracy theories? Like, could she still be in trouble? And then, Christopher, what do you think? Is there any possibility in your mind that maybe she is still speaking in codes that we should be mindful of? Or do you think some of these fans are just getting a little too crazy?
Well, it's hard to really know what's going on. I know there's been allegations about her not controlling social media, and we what we do know is she's under conservatorship and her rights have been taken away. And so we really, I think it's probably safer to assume that there are people controlling things than just to figure she has freedom, because she doesn't have complete freedom. That's by definition a conservatorship. So, but I'm going to start signing off. I got dinner with the family, but
go do it. Yeah. So there, I like his. He's always safe on these answers. Christopher, thank you so much for being here. Real quick, let's make sure we give you a proper plug. Go check out #TheLaw. Christopher Melcher over on YouTube. Support his streams. He's starting to do really well. Just got monetized. So thanks to everybody who's been going over support him. Make sure you go subscribe if you haven't already. Always a blessing to have you here. Thank you so much. Enjoy your dinner. Say hi to your family. We will see you later. We love you. Thank you, Christopher. Throw Christopher some love in the chat.
Thanks, Andy.
Have a good night, my man. There we go. All right. Well, always good to have him here, and I love getting his insight on some of this stuff, and also getting the questions. We have some other guests. If you were, I think some of my regulars are waiting to professionally let the lawyer handle all the professional stuff, as now we pivot to some other things. But chat, I'm curious. Do you now that we saw Christopher's? Christopher plays it safe. What do you think? What do you guys think of this? Is this a cry for help? Now, granted, where I don't believe it is like this random comment that only, what is it? 140 people replied and liked. If you need help, wear yellow in your next video. I'm sure there were 100 comments. Who's to say she saw it? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like so big that everyone was like, do this. There could have been someone that said, wear red in your next video, wear blue in your next video. Could have posted all these comments to make it. So I get a little annoyed with this sort of stuff, but then I see this yellow phone, hello fellows, and then yellow all over the place. Is she in Coldplay or something? What's with the fascination with yellow? Is this some sort of like moon energy or something that I'm just not familiar with? Anybody in the chat? Any of you have thoughts on this? I'm curious because I'm going crazy trying to figure out all these little symbols and things that she posts. I don't know. I will open up the chat as we wait for other guests. If anybody has a theory on this, I will hear you out. Here we go. Zoom link for calls. There you go. Just wait in the waiting room. I'll try and take a couple if anybody want to, but still trying to figure this out. Allison, any updates on Britney's dogs? Yeah, I read she got them back, is what I read. She did finally get the dogs back, thank God, which was nice to hear. Notice that story wasn't as big. You know what I mean? She gets the dogs back, and the headlines I saw for the past week, because I've been in Vegas, but here you go. It is. The Sun did report it. Britney, canine homecoming. Britney gets her dogs back after they were taken away. As housekeeper feared, they were near death. She got the dogs back, so clearly must be okay, right? It's always interesting to me. They always want to paint her in the worst light possible, which is just sad and frustrating. But curious what you guys think of all this as we go. All right, so hold on. Sorry, I'm making sure some other people are coming into my chat as we connect with you guys. All right, awesome. So, all right, cool. There we go. Sorry, checking something. All of her posts are old and recycled. Yes, I get that, Asheen, but I sometimes they're not. It's such a weird, if you really go through and do an audit of Britney's Instagram, it's no doubt a weird collection of old repeated videos and constant things. It does feel like there's a bunch of stuff that's been banked, and then they change the color on it and post it 3 times. It is, and then, I mean, how many times did she post this photo shoot holding the flowers? It's just, it is, I will admit and use the word strange, but we've gotten used to it in a way, but the repetition is always interesting. The color choices are interesting. I love her memes. I think she picks some fun, good memes, but it is a weird cavalcade of old clips. It's hard to tell what's new, and she really refuses to sort of just make it very clear that it's her. She could easily nip this in the bud if she just went live on Instagram, right? Like, hey guys, it's me. I'm live. Yes, I have access to my Instagram. If you see something here, it's me. But then I wonder if maybe the lawyer told her not to do that. Maybe, we can play it both ways. Is maybe a way she's doing at it. Yeah, until she says it, Buff Butterfly just said it too. Until I'm at the point until Britney herself says it, then I'll believe it. I still, you guys don't trust Sam. Interesting. It's interesting. The Sam, her boyfriend. I haven't done enough homework on him. It seems like they support each other, but that would be a bummer if he's a bad dude as well. I hope he's not. I hope there's some good in her life right now. We have a guest calling in. All right, let's say we can take a caller where it's like a radio show. I like when we take calls. I get to meet you guys. Hello. When you call in, make sure you mute the YouTube and keep your Zoom on. Hello. Is this Melody? Are you there?
Yeah, it is. Do you see me?
I don't see you, but I hear you.
Well, that's okay. You don't need to see me. I just had a thought about the yellow because I wasn't really following this very closely when that happened. And I heard about it just through, the gossip rags. And I actually, my gut feeling is that, yeah, she did know and that it was on purpose.
Interesting.
I have a feeling that, I think she probably has a lot of time on her hands, and her fans were her only contact really with what was going on in the real world. And maybe she didn't see it, but someone, her boyfriend or whoever, was like, oh, hey, Britney, look at this, what people are saying. And she was like, well, maybe people really do care, and maybe this isn't right for me, and maybe I should wear yellow in my next video and let them know that, like, I'm being kind of held forcefully. That was just my gut feeling.
What do you? It just feels odd, especially with the filing and sort of the other stuff that we see here, which it does feel like she's finally on the positive side of things, right? So it's hard for me to understand what was going through, unless, let's really be honest, unless she really is having some mental issues, right? Which doesn't mean she should still be stuck in the conservatorship and where she's at. There's a very likely scenario where she still has some issues, right, that we have to sort of acknowledge, but she should still have control of her life, I think is probably the biggest middle point that I think we may learn at some point. Not to knock her in any way, but I'm just saying there might be a bit, maybe she's bipolar, maybe whatever it is, right? And she could have her good days and bad days, and the yellow is on a bad day. Exactly. It's just, I don't know the level of the extreme, like, are you okay? None of us are okay on certain days, right, Melody? It's like we all have our bad days.
Exactly.
It is odd, though, that she doesn't just confirm it one way or the other, to just sort of say, yeah, that's me. Yeah, this is me. I'm on here. Do you think she's making a conscious decision to sort of avoid that on purpose?
Yeah, she's terrified of her father. She said so. This girl has been, like, he was terrifying to her when she was a small child. And then he kind of dropped out of her life for a while. And then all of a sudden, bam, he's in charge of her entire life. And so whatever issues that she has with her mental health, and we all do to some extent, I think therapy has been helping her find her voice and realize that, like, this existence that she's had all these years is not okay. And that, she can reach out for help. And that's actually a really important step when people are going through therapy or doing any kind of trauma work, is to realize that, like, they have some power left in their lives, and to find the supports to help them get from point A, where things are really dark and scary, to point B, where they feel like they have some control over their life and over their existence. I hope all the best for her. I am, like, full on into this story, and I will go on any platform and defend this girl, because I think that just the fact that she is here at this place. She got a new lawyer. She spoke in open court. She was clearly very anxious when she was speaking, but she did it. And so like, you got this, girl. Like, you just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why we're all there. I mean, it's the kids and everything. We realize the stuff she's lost over the years. It's just such a heartbreaking case that so many of us are rooting and trying to keep it on. And there's a lot of it's just so fascinating. I think we're all there. There is a part of this where I do think we are. That's why I don't make videos about the Instagram clues, just because I feel like there's a point where it's like, I don't know if she wants to do that. I can't tell, you know. And I feel like she has enough there to sort of tell us to, if she really wanted to at this point, is what I feel like. So it's a hard one. If there really is something going wrong, that's scary and sucks. But I think that's the best we can do is report it on the filing today, because that's the type of stuff that's actually really important, that'll have a lasting impact. Whereas I don't know what we're supposed to do that she's wearing yellow. Do you know what I mean? Her lawyer's filing paperwork today. If she's really in trouble, you'd think she'd be able to call her lawyer at this point. He can check in on her. And if there was something that drastic, you'd think he would be calling immediately, like, they're doing this to her, and oh my God, we had to pull her out of her own safety. I don't see why he wouldn't be jumping on that. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to believe that there's something so drastic in her wearing yellow. I mean, personally for me, that we should be worried about, but I know a lot of fans are. So at the end of the day, are you worried, or are you just thinking it's more maybe just, maybe there's something, a bad day is happening?
I think this video is old.
Right. The yellow one is, I feel like we've seen it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And when the fans were telling her to,
just to be clear, the post isn't her saying yellow over and over again. Changing it to just then focus only on yellow is almost her fanning the flames. No.
Yeah, it is. I think it is, because I think this is like her kind of saying, we ride at dawn, you know, like, let's go. This was the first time that I ever really shared with you that my inner world was not going so good. And now my lawyer has filed this really, really powerful statement. And so let's go. Free Britney.
Yeah. Yeah, well, one hopes she's okay. I'm assuming she is. I mean, here's Sam again. Not only is this cute asshole been with me through the hardest parts of my life, but happens to be an extremely good cook. Fast and Furious franchise, don't miss out on your next star. And there he is. Yes, F that a-hole. It's hard to tell. A lot of people are. I understand why fans aren't jumping in to trust her boyfriend. She's had a few, and we don't know who's really had the best intentions. There's been a lot of people who've come in her life trying to take advantage. But if you have information on Sam Asghari, let me know. I've just gone in sort of assuming nothing bad, good. Just sort of, he seems to be a rock for her right now. And I've seen him fight the conservatorship, which I like. I've seen him stand up against Jaime and stuff. So it's hard for me to think he's on the bad side of things. Where do you stand with that, Melody?
I don't know. I feel like she's had so many people in her life take advantage of her. And I hope that this is not one of those cases, but I just don't know enough about him. And I think that, like, his statement to, who was it that was interviewing him? The paparazzi, was that TMZ?
Yeah, I think so.
Jaime is a dick. Like, I think that was inconsistent with him being a paid influence in Britney's life, or someone there to keep her under her dad's control. Really, that's all.
True. So yeah, but I'm with you. I just don't know enough to hate on this guy, so I'm not going to do it until I have more intel. So if you guys have intel, let me know. In the meanwhile, I'm treating him as Britney's treating him on Instagram, and I still think it's her, personally, and I've had people tell me it's definitely her. But I know some of you are still skeptical, and this yellow might mean something more serious. Thank you, Melody. Kristen, are you there as well? Hello? Are you on the phone?
Hi, yes, I am here. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Did you have a comment to add to the show?
Yeah, so my possible thought on Britney's Instagram post was, do you think that whether Britney is publishing these or not, do you think that these could be allowed by her conservatorship to bring more attention to her, to ultimately bring more money in?
You saying on
like the more talk that we have.
It's sorry, the audio is a little hard to hear you. You're saying on the Instagram post is?
Yeah, here, let me see if I can fix my audio quick.
Yeah, it's a bad connection. I was confused in the question too.
Here.
Oh my God, that's way better. You there?
Is this better?
Oh
okay.
my God, yeah, you were like in a drive-through underwater. Now I can hear you.
Sorry.
You. All good.
So do you
ask one
think
more time.
like the more that we're talking about Britney, the more money is bringing into her conservatorship, and that's possibly why they're allowing these posts to come?
I don't see how the Instagram's helping her make money, to be perfectly honest. I mean, if she's doing brand deals on there, sure. But if anything, I feel like, I don't know if the Instagram helps. You know what I mean? The Instagram only makes people say she's crazy or she's doing this or whatever. As Christopher said, she really shouldn't be saying anything at this point. She's got the lawyer. She's on deck. They're doing it. If she wants to post like a couple memes once in a while, it's one thing. But, anything she posts can be used against her, right? And unless it's not her. But I don't know what money would be coming in from that. It's brand awareness, I guess, right? You could say. But, her money's really coming in from touring and merchandise, and a lot of that goes to Jaime. All of it does. There's a whole depressing thread I read where it's like Jaime owns the photo agency that basically takes all of her photos and then markets them if you ever want a picture of her. Like, Jaime gets paid for it. Jaime created a company so he could get paid for it on top of everything he's already getting paid for the conservatorship through an organization he started. So that's why, I get frustrated because there's people out there who think I'm just grifting on this whole Britney Spears thing. No, like the more I've dug on all this, like I'm getting pissed. Like I'm genuinely getting pissed because, I hate cancel culture. Like I don't believe in just sort of writing people off and saying people are, I'm just assuming people are guilty. I say this about Jaime because I've done the homework and I just see all the shady, terrible stuff he's done and continues to do to this day where he's just causing her stress and should have stepped down. A father and a conservator should have said, I'm so sorry if I'm not helping. By all means, yes, let me step down. But he can't because he's got so many hands and so many cookie jars and so many illegal and crazy stuff that I really think is going to be clearly found out. There's so much, guys. He literally sold her homes, her cars, and got them sent to him. So he basically bought all their stuff. He's using one of her homes in wherever they're from. I forget, Louisiana, right?
Louisiana, yeah.
Yeah, where he's basically storing all of this merchandise and like basically memorabilia of hers, saying, "Oh, it's not worth any money, so I'm just going to use it as storage." But meanwhile, he's like open it up and make it a museum then. I'm sure a Britney museum could start making revenue. There's so many things he's done that show a conflict of interest and him profiting off of her that I'm sorry, he's guilty in my mind. Like a dad doesn't do that to their daughters, and I'm horrified by all the stuff he's done. And so, yeah, I don't know. He's profiting off a lot of stuff. I don't know how Britney is. So again, to answer the question is Britney posting to help? I don't think so. Now, if Britney's not in charge of the Instagram, then that would make more sense. But if
I just remembered in a previous video of yours, you said that there is another agency that approves her posts. So I wasn't sure if they were allowing this so people could keep saying that she was
there is a rumor
crazy
of that
or
too.
something, talking about her.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is no one really seems to be able to confirm what's going on on Instagram or social media. But yeah, in theory, apparently from what I've heard, she has access, but so does a marketing team, social media team of hers, so they can adjust or take things out. Maybe that's why certain things get edited. I don't know. I hope someday we get the answer because it'd be fascinating. But I think the answer is I think the answer is less interesting. I think, yeah, she's doing it, and she posts weird things. She has a weird taste of what she posts, and some people are gonna love it, and some people are gonna go, "That's crazy! You already posted that." But and
it's probably an outlet for her too, because on the conservators, the June 23rd court case, she was saying she didn't want to go because she was going to be alone, and maybe it's just her way of venting.
Exactly. I really think the whole Instagram is her way of venting. It's like it's the one place where she sort of has an opportunity to sort of put things out there and get reactions. But I think she's a type of person who has lived under this lock and key of the conservatorship for so long that she's able to navigate not saying things. You know what I mean? She's the type of person that doesn't need to. Some people talk, right? A lot and need to vent. Yep. Jamie Lynn is one of them. She's always blah, 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 blah. Whereas Britney, I feel like over the years is like doesn't want drama. She doesn't want the trouble. She's sort of agreed to, I think, a lot of things she's stuck herself into because, again, this is my take. Again, speculation, but just seems like she wants to avoid the drama when need be. I feel like that's a lot of the reasons was because they're like, look, you want to see your kids, then sign all this. And she said, fine. So I do think there's a lot of that where it's like she can post all day and not have to get too into the weeds on some of the stuff that's bothering her. But as she finally was getting fed up and said what she said, we've gotten a few of them, right? A few moments where she finally sort of called some people out, but then she changes them and edits them and sort of regrets it. So, yeah, I don't know. I really do believe she'll do an interview at some point. I don't see how she wouldn't or couldn't. She could get paid. It's just going to help clear some things up. I think it'll only help her and her brand, adjustments as she moves forward when she does reclaim control, which I hope she does. And I hope at that point someone actually, not freaking Oprah, I hope someone who's well-versed in the case and respectful will try to get the real answers that we want, as fans, and sort of figure out what happened. So fingers are crossed. Easy, Lazy Bellor, thank you for the super chat. She also once said this was her favorite yellow shirt in that post. Maybe she's just being celebratory, though I do believe she did send messages before. I agree with you, Lazy. There have been messages. I think people aren't crazy in sort of assuming they hid messages, but in this case, I don't know. It feels like sure, things aren't perfect, but they're way better off. And unless seeing how Rosengart's doing what he's doing, I don't see why she'd have reason to be nervous right now. Now, after the 29th, let's see how that goes. If it goes poorly, then yes, I think we should all pay attention and be worried. But I hope right now she's feeling a little bit of a, all right, let's see how this goes type of thing, because Rosengart isn't going light on any of this. Kristen, any final thoughts before I let you go too? Did you have anything else to add?
Nope, nothing else. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you. As you keep watching, thanks so much for staying tuned. Anybody else wants to call in quickly? I'm waiting for... Did Steph fall asleep? We had a big Steph announcement. I want to make sure she got in. As we have so many people watching, she might have fallen asleep. She is on UK time. If anybody else wants to call in, there's a Zoom link. I want to do a recap on Vegas, but I was waiting for a couple guests. Lewis and such are supposed to be here. Lewis is seeing Dune. I'm very jealous. Lewis, let me know when you're back. There we go. We have another call. I was going to say I have a couple pivots I could do to have topics, but yeah, I'll take your calls. In the meanwhile, keep the questions coming in. Love you guys for supporting. We have another caller on the line. Hendrika. Are you there, Hendrika? Thank you for calling in to Popcorn Planet FM, late night radio, Britney talk, and more. I always wanted to be a DJ. When I was a kid, I'd create little cassette tapes, and I'd make little fake radio promos and put songs in and be like, hey, everybody, welcome to 107.5 FM. This is Andy, and this is The Proclaimers. I'm gonna be. Remember that song? Love that song. Put it on cassette to cassette. Henrika, hello, Henrika. Are you there? Are you there? Muddit. I know. I wanted to watch Dune with Lewis, too. We all did. I think a lot of us would have watched Dune there if we could. Oh, my gosh. What? Is this Stephanie? Holy, how did I miss this earlier? From the Cash App, Stephanie. And that's not Steph, the alter nerd. Holy moly, Stephanie. Wow, I just sent you a heart back because Stephanie just dropped. Holy moly. $100 through the cat. I love how this lit. Look at this, like the glowing briefcase. Stephanie, my God, you didn't even leave a note for hashtag free Britney. My God, Stephanie, thank you so much. The YouTube gods aren't always kind, but I'm so grateful to make sure the coverage out there is meaning so much to so many of you guys to keep it going. That's what I do, is to report the news. And I'm so grateful for you, Stephanie, for dropping that. That is so generous of you. Thank you, Stephanie.
Buy that for $1.
Throw some hearts and planets in the chat for that amazing super chat that Stephanie just sent over through the Cash App. That means it all goes to us. YouTube can't take a piece. They hate when we do that, so please keep doing it that way. I really appreciate you, Stephanie. Say hello in the chat if you're there still, so we can all congratulate you over there, or call in if you'd like. Great to meet you, and thank you for that amazing support, Stephanie. Wow, I'm in shock. Thank you so much. Those hugely generous donations always blow my mind. So I'm grateful for all you guys that support in any amount. But things like that, they're big. Andrika, are you there? I saw your audio was back on. Hello? I heard somebody talking. Andrika, are you there? Hello? You're soft. You were there and now you're off. I heard you for a second and now I don't hear you. Restart your audio connections, Hendrika, if you can. Make sure they're working correctly. And hopefully I'll hear you. I saw someone else was in the chat and then you disappeared. I was about to come.
I am. Can you hear me now?
There you are. Hello. How are you?
Hello, I am. How are you?
I'm
Can
good.
You hear me?
I hear you now. How's it going tonight for you?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I can hear you now. How are you doing?
Oh,
you can't hear me? I can't hear
you.
You
Hear me at all?
You got to turn off your YouTube. While we're waiting for her to figure that out, turn off your YouTube and listen to the Zoom. I can hear you fine. But you might be on a delay. Gear Second Son, thank you so much for the donation. Just got back from Alert, most northern manned place in North America. It's good to be back. I have a lot of videos of yours I need to binge. It's great to see you still strong. Just got my 6-month loyalty badge. Vegas, mind blown. Thank you, Gear Second Son. I appreciate you.
Really good. Really good.
Hendrika, are you there? I'm trying to get you in, but you're on a delay. Thank you, Gear Second Son. I appreciate you.
I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, look who's here. So excited to have my man, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Not David Ledge, the legend, but... Wait, hold on. I'm trying to remove...
Good intro.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. I screwed this up. I'm going to do it again. The man, the myth, the Vito! What's up, Vito?
I'm doing good.
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about Vegas with Vito, and Lewis will be joining us as well.
I'm still exhausted. I don't know how you're making videos or anything. I can't deal with any of this.
I took a few days off, guys. We're gonna give you an update on Vegas. Some of you guys I know are like, what the hell did you do?
I'm trying to get back in
Andy?
the swing of things. I think I'm still hungover. I'm like, oh my God.
We had some crazy times. We will update you on that. And then hold on, I can't. Hendrika, we lost. Elisa is doing a call. Let me see if I get her on audio while we wait for Vito to sober up. Because we have a Vegas update. We have some more movie pop culture updates, and I want to hang out with you guys. But thank you again to Gear Second Son for that generous donation. So grateful. And my gosh, still blown away by Stephanie on the Cash App. Isn't it amazing when you just get a supporter just drops a hundo on you and you're just watching? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Always
I
never
get that too.
Never surprises me. I'm always just
you
like,
can pay me back for those wine coolers I brought you.
Jeez, it's so cheap.
Dude, you guys got paid in Vegas. I just lost.
No, I haven't yet. But when we do, I will have to figure out how to get that paid. But yes, when we do, we will.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. I'm
not
in a rush.
Elisa, are you there? Hello, Alyssa. Sorry, let me just get. I had these calls on hold.
Sorry.
To make sure
on the way out of Vegas, I did manage to get like $100 out of a slot machine. So
there you go. You paid for your wine coolers. Leave me
Can
alone.
you stop doing? No, look, hook me up a little bit. You guys were auctioning off NFTs. I'm just sitting there all poor.
I didn't see any of that money. That went all to the ladies.
Wait, what? They should give
Alyssa, are you there, Alyssa?
Hi, can you hear me?
There we go. I can hear you, Alyssa. What's up, Alyssa?
Nothing. I just wanted to say thanks for the free Britney coverage, and you're doing a great job.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I love hearing compliments like that. Any questions or anything else to add, or just sending the compliments?
No, just looking forward to your Vegas review.
Is Andy doing the best job of all the Britney coverage? Who's doing a better job than Andy?
Honestly, that's the only one I pay attention to.
Nobody is the answer. Nobody's doing a better job.
Alyssa for the win. Bam! Well, you can stick around because you're nice, Alyssa, or you can bail, whatever. But thank you for the kind
I'm
words.
going to bail, but thank you. I appreciate
it.
Thanks for coming on, Alyssa. We appreciate
That's very nice of you. And then Hendrika, I'm trying to get you in. Hendrika, are you there?
I'm here.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, we got it.
I was being a boomer.
You were being a boomer. Any questions you had for us?
I don't. I have a comment to make. By the way, I always wanted to be a pop star. Like you wanted to be a DJ, and then I realised I couldn't sing.
Wait. Hold on. The accent's throwing me. Slow it down. Wait, did you say a pop star?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
You wanted to be a DJ? I wanted to be a pop star. Then I realised I couldn't sing.
You have to sing as part of the...
Gotcha.
Go up.
I mean, I don't know. There have been pop stars that haven't sung. Milli Vanilli, Ashley Simpson. There's been a few of them.
You just auto-tune it, baby. Anybody can auto-tune.
What's your comment, though, Hendrika? What do you want to add?
My comment on the yellow dress situation. Well, or the possibility of manic depression, bipolar. Some of her posts do look like they could be manic episodes. But the yellow dress situation, maybe it's just saying, I've seen you. I've seen my fans. I've seen what you're saying. So it's not necessarily reaching out saying I need help, but I've seen you.
It's like I see you. It's like it's an Avatar, right? Isn't that what they did in Avatar, Vito? I see you.
Which Avatar?
Isn't it the
blue
James
people?
Cameron Avatar? We're like, I see you.
Is that when he jammed his
the movie
brain
I'm
into
thinking
somebody
about?
else's brain?
Yeah, I think so. The big blue people.
I see you.
It's not yellow, it's blue. But yeah, you know what? I think you're right, Enrica. I do think that is a possibility because Vito, here you go. You're joining in late, but there's a thread here where people have been sort of saying, hey, if you need help, wear yellow. And then the next day, look what she did. She dresses in yellow and writes, yellow phone, hello, fellows. And then she's literally dancing around, yellow, hello, like she needs help. So a lot of fans are assuming that this might mean she needs help. Is she
we
okay?
knew, but didn't we know she needs help? I mean, does she need extra help?
No,
I
but
don't think she's saying she needs extra help. I think she's just saying I can see my fans reach.
Yeah, she's aware. She's aware of the support. I'm sure she is.
I think some fans are. I think some fans are looking a little bit too much into it. And
I'm worried a fan's gonna break into her house and try to take her away in the middle of the night. Try to.
You never know. You never
go
know.
through the court system, people. I think that's the best way to handle this.
Some plenty of nutters out there.
No. Well, Andrika, thank you for that. I don't disagree. I look, and as I was saying earlier, Vito, too, like there's a possibility where, yes, Britney needs to be freed, but she still probably needs some mental helpness because she might be going through some of her own issues, as many people do. It doesn't mean her whole world should be controlled, is really what I think is
I was gonna
a
say,
fair middle ground for a lot of people, Just because it doesn't mean she doesn't have maybe some issues, but a lot of people do. That just doesn't mean that she shouldn't have control of her life. I would argue Kanye West has a lot of issues, and he's allowed to, be in charge of his estate and things. So, it is what it is. She should have that right, is what I thought.
Hey, I have issues. I ain't having anyone control my life.
Right. There's a lot of people who have issues. Vito has so many friggin' issues.
I wish somebody was controlling my life. Frankly, free Britney, yell Vito.
For some people,
I'm a menace
nice
to society.
Thank you, Hedrika, for calling in.
No problem.
I appreciate you.
Sorry about the mess up earlier.
No worries. All good. That's what we're
I was
going to
say, what celebrities don't have some sort of issues?
Everybody
we let
does.
them.
Everybody
we
does.
let them manage their own money. We let
It's true.
We let them spend themselves into a grave, and then we feel bad about it. We give them a comeback reunion tour. So it always works out.
The reunion tours are always popular. All right, I'm going to clip this portion. We're going to get into Vegas updates a lot more, but I forgot I needed to clip this at some point. So if you've been watching up to this point, thank you for watching up to this point. I may have clipped it earlier. I don't know. Sometimes I change it. But if I leave a 4-hour video up, sometimes I stream late. It just never performs, and it kills my algorithm. So we always put the full unedited, uncensored show over on members only. So if you haven't already, hit the join button. We've had some members join, and I appreciate you guys. It just helps. It's just like a fee you pay to guarantee that you're paying each month to help us have keep the lights on, keep the coverage coming. So all those of you who have donated, I appreciate it. YouTube does take 30%. That's why we still always do these streams and take your chats and stuff, because it helps, because they don't always share our videos. These coverage, especially, I have so many. Johnny Depp coverage gets sunk. This R. Kelly, dude, Vito, I'm jumping into R. Kelly tomorrow. That one, that one does not get promoted, but my God, what an awful story we got to share. So a lot of the topics I enjoy talking about just don't like to go into the algorithm. So I appreciate you guys' help. So that way we can keep posting what we need to post and getting the word out there on subjects like this. But there you go. Click on these videos. They might be covering Vito's face if you're watching on the replay, or usually over my face will be the actual continuation, which you can continue right now if you'd like to. So there you go.